Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and today I am doing the A to Z tag. I was tagged by Greg over at Another Bibliophile read and it has taken me just a couple weeks to get to this one, but I'm excited. So let's jump right in. A to Z tag. There are 26, obviously, letters, and so there's 26 questions to answer. So I'm going to try and go as fast as possible so I don't end up with a 30-minute video. Though me talking as little as possible doesn't always work very well. So we'll see how I do today. Okay, so A, author you read the most from. So I would love for this to be some wonderful literary genius, classical author. And it's not, it's definitely not. I mean, while I have read a lot of Agatha Christie and I've read several Steinbeck, the author I have read the most from is actually Nora Roberts and her pen name of J.D. Robb. Her In Death series has been one of my favorites since I was much younger than I am now, and she had 52 in that series at the time that I'm filming this. I think there's another one coming out very soon as well, and it's just my easy escape, and I absolutely love them. So yes, definitely Nora Roberts and J.D. Robb, probably close to 100 books all total if I go over all of her books, because she has written quite a lot of books. So B, best sequel ever. I had to search a bit because I don't recall like a really good sequel that I have read recently. I will say, however, that I am reading this, the Dark Tower series, which this is book 2, which I like considerably more than I like The Gunslinger. So The Gunslinger for me was just very confusing book. And this one has been absolutely amazing. So yeah, the drawing of 3, I love the character development in this one. I also love this particular version because I got it at a secondhand bookstore, and it just has great illustrations in it, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, the drawing of 3, I'll go with that one. Sure, why not? My iPad closed. Okay. C, what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Greenwood by Michael Christie. Sorry, I'll try and hold it so you guys can see the title or the author's name. I just picked this one up actually yesterday, and I am about 40% of the way through it and loving it. Greenwood with Michael Christie. Absolutely wonderful book. D, drink of choice while reading. I don't really have one. I absolutely am always drinking water. I always have a water bottle of some sort that I continually drink throughout the day. If I drink anything, I might drink some tea, but I really don't have anything specific that I drink while I'm reading. E-reader or physical book? Both. Absolutely both. I have now a number of physical books, but I spent a number of years reading a lot of ebooks, and it's great because I can always have a book with me, which came in very handy over the weekend when we were ended up being stuck somewhere for a little while, and I was able to continue my reading and wasn't quite as bored as I would have been had I didn't have that. So I will read a mixture, absolutely. F, fictional character you probably would have actually dated in high school. I'll try to figure this one out a little bit as well, but I picked up Ignatius J. Riley from Confederacy of Dunces. He's just kind of a disaster and sounds like someone I actually probably would have dated in high school. If you haven't read this one, it's actually one of my favorites. It'll come up later as well in the prompts. But yeah, Ignatius, probably someone I would have ended up dating in high school. Okay, so G, glad you gave this book a chance. I don't have a physical copy of this one, but it is Tarzan by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I was so incredibly surprised at how much I actually love this book. I was shocked. I thought I would be bored with it, and it was just absolutely wonderful. I loved that it was so different than any of the movies that had been adapted from it, and I read it in about a day. It was just absolutely magnificent. I also love the ending of the book, far better than any of the movies I had seen. So yeah, Tarzan by Edgar Rice Burroughs, absolutely amazing book. H, hidden gem book. So this one I was trying to figure out what I decided to do as like most surprising book that I've read from my 1001 book list, and that was actually Candide by Voltaire. I thought that I was going to struggle just reading a book that's highly intellectual, And then I picked it up and realized that this one isn't nearly as difficult as I was imagining it to be. It has a character whose name is Cunegonde. The other character ends up going to El Dorado, the lost city of gold. And while there was a lot to kind of consume of it, it was a bit of a gem because I wasn't expecting that one either off my 1001 list, and was intimidated just by the name Voltaire. So that was a good one. Important moment in your reading life. Definitely when I started reading more classics, I just changed my perspective quite a bit and changed what my selections were for books quite a bit. It absolutely was one. And then the other one I'll actually say is joining BookTube, because I cannot tell you how many different authors I have come across now in this community. I will imagine however long from now that this will be one of those moments that I will say really changed my reading. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's been a blast. I just finished Minor Detail by Adania Shibli, which I'm still trying to digest it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to talk about it on YouTube. It is a very powerful, very short book, and it is one that's sticking with me a little bit. So hopefully I'll talk about it coming up, but it's one I had as an e-reader, which is why I ended up reading it yesterday in the middle of reading Greenwood. So, but yeah, Minor Detail was the last one that I finished. Okay. Kinds of books you won't read. There isn't much that I won't read. I don't read a lot of just historical history books, especially if it's like a biography of someone. Those aren't my go-to books. I do find them fascinating when I do read them, but I'm not going to go search them out too much. It's just not my area. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, though. After starting this channel, I'm definitely getting more sci-fi in my TBRs than I ever thought I would. So yeah, those are the couple. Everything else, pretty much fair game for the most part. Longest book you've read. That is probably The Stand at like 1,300 pages. According to Goodreads, that is definitely the longest book that I've read by Stephen King or by anyone, but it is the longest book. Major book hangover because of Rabbit is Rich, last one that I read that I was just annoyed with, and just bad book. Yeah, not good for me. Number of bookcases you own. I actually don't own that many, but I'm expecting that that's going to change fairly soon, because this bookcase over here is already getting very, very full, and I have a stack of books here, and I have a stack of books here, and then I have 2 stacks of books over here. Yeah, so I only own these 2, but it's going to end up having to change probably fairly soon. So we'll see how that goes, because I do have some space over here that you never get to see, because it's messy, that I could actually put some bookshelves in. So we'll see. Oh, one book you have read multiple times, and then there were none by Agatha Christie. I talked about it in my newbie video. Preferred place to read. In my living room, usually. We have a great couch down there, some great chairs that are perfect for reading. If I am annotating something, I want a desk to use, so I will read at like our island, but downstairs, without a doubt, is where I read the most. I can't read outside. I've tried. This doesn't work for me. Q, quote that inspires you and gives you all the feels from a book. So I don't know if this one really gives me all the feels from a book, but it is a quote that I really did love, and it's actually from Haruki Murakami's Norwegian Wood, which is, if you only read the books that everyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is thinking. And I definitely do identify that. Without a doubt, because I don't necessarily read a lot of the newer releases. I'm especially working my way through the 1001 book list. I'm reading books that I have never heard of. So, but yeah, I do like that quote quite a bit. Reading regret. My one reading regret is probably I did read some Marquis de Sade, and it wasn't the best. It was very, very problematic content and very explicit. Yeah, obviously, if you're familiar with Marquis de Sade, it is just very, very difficult, very, very difficult to read. So that's my one reading regret. I would never read it again at this particular point. series you started and need to finish. All books are out in the series. That is absolutely going to end up being, again, the Dark Tower series. I am doing this as a buddy read with my friend Sarah, and I'm currently waiting on her to catch up because I don't want to get too far ahead because it's been really fun bouncing back and forth as we make our way through this book. And so she's been reading some other things, and we have our book club pick that we have to read. And so this one probably is still going to wait. It has been on my currently reading on Goodreads for a bit, so hopefully we'll get back to it in June. And then I do have the third book in the series already. I bought it again as a physical book and waiting to read it, but that is definitely the one that is the series that we're picking up and I need to finish. T, 3 of your all-time favorite books. I think this is the hardest question for a booktuber to answer because my favorite books change depending on what I've been reading. And so the ones I wrote down were absolutely The Confederacy of Dunces because I remember so much of this book. I probably read it for the first time 20 years ago, and what he gets up to is just really chaotic and funny. So that one is one. Gone with the Wind was one that I really did enjoy as well. And I know, even though it's a big book, I read it over a weekend. And then, as I talked about in my newbie video, Count of Monte Cristo is an all-time classic favorite of mine, without a doubt. One of my favorites. Okay, so you, unapologetic fangirl for, I don't know if it's quite a fangirl, but it's something that I like that before I started watching stuff, I might have called it more of a guilty pleasure, but it's the paranormal romance type of a book. Yeah, I absolutely love those. I haven't talked about any on my channel because I've been reading so much other stuff, and I'm sure as many booktubers on here can relate, I may have overcommitted for what I was going to read in May, and it didn't leave me room to read much other than what I had on my TBR. So, but that is the one, paranormal romance, just, yeah, smuttier the better. Love it very, very much. Okay. V, very excited for this release more than all the others. I'm going to say Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. The Martian is one of the few sci-fi books that I have read, and I loved it. I recommended it to my husband. He read it and loved it. And I'm so excited about this one because I've heard some really good things about it. I don't have it yet. It's on the hold list at the library. I'm hoping to be able to pick it up fairly soon because I do know it is out. And very excited to get to read that one. W, worst bookish habit. My worst bookish habit is probably, well, I guess I have two. One is I often will check out way too many books from the library. The hold system at the library that I have here in the Pacific Northwest is just kind of, you're not sure when you're going to get a book. And so I will put 20 something books on hold, and it'll say 8 weeks till it's available. And then next week it will be there along with 4 others. And so I often end up having way too many books checked out at the library, and I will sometimes just either have to let them go back or try and force myself to read books really fast. The other, as my husband I'm sure can tell you, is I'm just really always reading, and sometimes I need to just put it away and just focus on other things. And so I definitely read a lot. But I don't know if that's really a worst bookish habit, but it is a bookish habit. So yeah, I do read probably much more than I think my husband probably wishes I would. X marks the spot. Start at the top of your left shelf and pick the 27th book. So when I did this, if I can find it for you, I came up with The Odyssey by Homer. Now, I don't know that, one, I've never read this. It's been on my shelf. This is a book from 2003. This makes me seem way more, I don't know what the right word is, something about books that I read, really intellectual books. And like I said, I haven't actually read this. It is one that I would like to read. It's not actually on my 1001 book list, which I find is fascinating. But The Odyssey by Homer is the 27th book that came up. Why? Your latest book purchase. So that is actually Lark Rise to Candleford, which we are reading as part of the Pastoral Readathon, which I will talk about in my Wednesday video. And then Z Z Snatcher book, last book that kept you up way too late. I didn't have a really good answer for this one because I tend to read in the morning and more than I read late at night. If I had a book that kept me up late at night, I can't actually remember what one it was at this particular point. I know I was reading Rabbit is Rich fairly late because I had to get it done for the video I needed to record, but I don't remember it being super late. So yeah, I tend to read more early in the morning, and by evening time, I just want to decompress by watching something like The Great Pottery Throwdown on HBO Max. And if you haven't seen that and you like The Great British Bake Off, you should watch it because it's really, really amazing. And then tag your friends. So I don't like tagging people. I'm having trouble figuring out who to tag. I want to tag everyone and all of the people who have either tagged me or I'm watching your channel or you're commenting on my channel. And rather than try and do that, what I did was I have this little jar here that actually matches my vase and matches my shirt today, which is unplanned, but we'll go with it. And I wrote down a set of people's names in here. Just as an easy way to try and like mix it up a little bit so I don't tag the same people all the time. And so I'm just going to draw two because I don't want to do too many. And I'm just going to do this until these are gone. And hopefully you guys haven't done this. So the first one, when I feel like everybody tags this person, which is Attention, which is Pay's channel, I did put him in here because I love his tag videos. If you haven't ever watched them, you should go check because they are absolutely the most entertaining thing, especially for tag videos, you could watch. So Attention, if you haven't done this one, I'd love to see what you do with it. And then the next one is Mark at Book Time with Elvis. He tagged me as well in the A tag. So Mark, love to see what you've done. I didn't see this on your channel when I went out and looked, but Mark at Book Time with Elvis and Pay at Attention. Those are the two I'm going to tag today. And then I'm going to put my little lid back on and leave it for next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tag. And until next time, thanks everyone. Bye.